Manager tries to make life difficult for me, doesn't know as per my contract it benefits me. This happened a couple of years ago. I was working on a part-time basis in a small firm owned by friends. Pay was not very good, but the atmosphere was, and I was allowed to set my own timings. So, life was good overall. Then a friend whom I knew only through social media approached me for a job in her company. Even though they were offering good money, I turned down the offer as I knew I could not get the benefits I was getting in my current job. Plus, the commute to the new office was very long. I would have to travel 2 hours one way and change 3 trains just to reach office. A month later, the HR of the new firm approached me again. They offered me almost 4 times the money I was making, and I could set my own work hours. There was also extra pay for working overtime and on weekends. This was important. I joined the new company. My friend did not know the terms of the new agreement I had with HR. She used to act like I owed her big time for the opportunity I got. So, one day I corrected her. I told her that I had turned down the offer she had been part of, and 1 month later I had had my own negotiations and I got much more favorable terms. So, I was here because her company really needed me and not because of her. I didn't share the details of my agreement with her, but we both realized that she was making significantly lesser than me. This totally changed her attitude towards me. Now she wanted me out, and I was determined to stick through for at least a year. So, she decided that she would make it very difficult for me to work so that I quit on my own. There are a lot of stories I have about how she tried every trick in the book to make me quit. I'm sharing some of them here. She was my manager and was in charge of allocating work. Malicious compliance. 1. She started piling on more work on me than any other member of the team. I was happy to comply. She did not know that as part of my contract I would be paid 1.5 times the hourly rate for every hour I worked and 2 times the hourly rate if any work was allocated to me over weekends or holidays. Every time she tried to ruin my weekend by calling me to office unnecessarily, I happily complied. This continued till the time I left the organization and told her how much extra money she had helped me make. Malicious compliance. 2. After the long commute to work, I used to be hungry, so I developed the habit of stopping at the food court to pick up a glass of fresh fruit juice and carry it with me to work. My manager thought that this way she could harass me without actually seeming to do so. So, she sent a notice that bringing liquids to office was a hazard. Ironically, she used to have coffee delivered to get desk 3 times a day. Well, I pointed out that the rule applied to her as well, and if I couldn't have my juice, she couldn't have her coffee. She had to literally spend an extra unpaid hour at work every time she wanted her special coffee. Meanwhile, I was happy to leisurely sit in the food court, have my glass of fresh fruit juice with some snacks, and then begin my workday half hour later than usual. Edit -1 Whoa. This blew up, and how? I didn't expect that this post would receive so much response. These 2 were the least of the incidents of my work life with this woman. There are a lot of comments and messages about this post, and while I would love to answer all of them individually, since they more or less relate to the same subject, I'll add the clarifications here below. 1. A common question people have posted is why my manager did not know my pay structure. I work in India, and here salary structure is kept strictly confidential. It can be grounds for firing to reveal or ask for someone's salary. Basically, the way the system works is that every new hire negotiates their salary on the basis of last drawn pay, experience and qualifications. It is very common for 2 people working on same level to have vastly different pay structures. 2. Overtime. Usually people in management level do not get overtime. I had a 7-year gap in my career, and when I started working again I chose to work in a different field, so even though I was drawing a high salary I didn't belong to the management level. My manager was not aware of it. When she assigned me work she assumed I would be working without pay. 3. I owed her. No. No organization hires anyone on the basis of recommendation. They hire people on the basis of what they bring to the table, how they seem to fit into the organization's growth plans and culture. I was able to prove that I was worthwhile investment for the company. This goes out to all. If someone tells you that they did you a favor by recommending you, don't feel overly obligated. Yes, they did you a good turn. But you got the job on your own merit. Be professional at work and do not go out of your way to return perceived favors. 4. Was she a friend? No, not towards the end. Initially I knew her only through social media. As we worked together, I developed a friendly working relationship with her. When she began harassing me, the dynamics changed. Though I made sure that nothing in my attitude, behavior or demeanor would give any indication of hostility from my end. 5. Negotiations. How was I able to get such a beneficial pay structure? I was working part-time before. The first offer I had was double my salary. But it actually worked out to the same salary structure since I would have to work full-time. I took a calculator to my meeting with the HR and showed them how with my increased travel cost and time spent on commute I would be more out of pocket taking their job. This is how I was offered flexible timings and a high base salary. Now to the comments. Your friend does not seem very friendly. OP replied. She was friendly so long as she thought she was doing me a favor. When she realized she didn't and I didn't owe her, her attitude changed. How is it that, as your manager, she doesn't know your pay structure? Got to love it when the manager's petty bullshit ends up helping you at the end, and no matter how much they harass you, you just grin at her and say thanks. That always pisses them off even more. Kill them with kindness. Quicker and easier to buy a sword and name it kindness. Yeah, but then you have to pay for the sword and you can't rub it in their face that they actually just made your pockets fatter. What was her reaction when you told her about all that extra money she had helped you earn with all the overtime, weekends, and holidays? OP replied. She had to smile and wish me well. But if you have ever seen the smile of rigor mortis, you would know what her face looked like. Every time she scheduled you for it, she must have thought this would be the ruined weekend that would break OP, even though it's trashing my budget. Friend? What friend? That's not how friends should act. Shake my head. I don't get why friends can't be happy for friends. It sounds like she's very unhappy about everything and that makes me very satisfied. Because she wasn't a friend. Barely an acquaintance. She's not your friend, pal. She's not your pal, buddy. Not your buddy, guy. Do you have any more stories about her you can tell us? Pretty sad she took it out on you when you were making more instead of looking to the company or at herself. Obviously either she was being undervalued by her current company or she just plainly wasn't as valuable. You getting more money was not you wronging her in any way. Petty shit, my dude. Glad you turned it into a positive, not a negative. Yeah, I came here to say this as well. If you find out that a direct report makes more than you should either bring it up to the company or just look for a new job. Exactly. I once found out that my colleague and best friend was given a promotion 4x larger than mine at our yearly review. I was pissed, but not at him. I was pissed at our boss for playing favorites and being unfair. I took action to get a higher raise, and when the boss didn't budge, I found a new company. I never, ever blamed my friend. It's insane to me that anyone would try to harm someone else for having it better than them. I'll never understand why people are so pathetic and hostile. Wouldn't it not make more sense to be on good terms? I mean, if someone told me they negotiated a good position, I'd be happy for them and want to learn how I can too. Because they are pathetic and get hostile when they think they've been slighted, for example. Minion with higher pay rate. Haha, more stories please. And what was her reaction when you told her how much extra you made? Reminds me of a friend who set me up with her best guy friend only to turn into a mega witchosaurus when we hit it off. The idea of her dedicating herself to ruining your life and at the end of it you cheerfully thanking her for all the extra overtime she helped you get is golden. Sounds like her anger was misplaced. If your manager is earning less than you, that's a serious issue, but one for the company, not you.